Rishi Sunak has said the first flights will leave by July, but how likely is that?
Michael Thompson, he's the Minister for Illegal Migration, oozing confidence this morning.
Last night was a momentous occasion. We were told that the bill would never pass, that we'd never get it through, and the Prime Minister was determined to ensure that we got the bill through, and we did that last night. And
here's the Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, with her reaction.
The problem with the Rwanda scheme, and bear in mind this is there was announced 2 years ago. They told us they were implementing this 2 years ago, and they have just kept writing cheques to Rwanda. So with every step along the way, they simply write more cheques. The first thing that they're going to do now that this latest piece of legislation has been passed, and bear in mind this is the third Conservative law on channel crossings in the last 2 years, but the first thing they're going to now do is write another £50 million cheque for Rwanda.
Well, with us in the studio now, we have leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, who doesn't think Rishi Sunak is the man to stop the boats. Why is that? You don't think it's going to be...
No, because we've seen it, haven't we, this year? Already some 6,500 have crossed the Channel this year. And tragically, when he talks about it being a deterrent, we hear the tragic news this morning that another 5 people, including a very young child, has died in the Channel this morning. I believe that's 14 so far this year.
That's not because of his policy, because we haven't got the
Rwanda.
No, we haven't got the policy.
No,
we had
exactly.
it, that wouldn't be happening.
They've known for 2 years that this was supposedly going to be a deterrent, and yet they are still taking this perilous journey. More people are dying because it's not a deterrent, because they know...
It's not operational, Richard.
No,
it's not an operational policy yet.
But in theory, anybody can be returned, right, who'd be sent to Rwanda, who's currently coming across. They're not. They know that the prospect of it is so remote that it's not a deterrent. This whole thing is flawed. So here's what's going to happen, right? Because they know it's not a deterrent. The migrants know it's not a deterrent. So many people here know it's not going to be a deterrent. What Sunak's going to do? This is going to determine his whole election strategy. We are now preparing for a general election on Thursday, the 27th of June.
Really?
Or the 4th of July. I'll tell you why.
Hang on, let's go on.
Because if he lets these flights take off, and I'm right that the boats keep coming because it's not a deterrent, all of a sudden, these hundreds of millions are wasted, all these years are wasted, we've got over 100,000 people, so his whole strategy...
But what if it does deter them?
No, we know it won't deter them.
We do know
that because
how can we
people
know
are dying. People are literally dying today.
The law passed last night. It hasn't started yet.
But the whole
point is,
all of these people, supposedly, who are coming across now, could be moved to Rwanda. They're not. They know it's not going to happen. It's not a deterrent. People are dying. So here's where... See, he can't take that risk. So he's going to advance it, and that's absolutely clear to us. That's why we're saying, get ready for a summer election.
And hang on, let me ask you this, Richard. You will fear that because you're not ready.
Not at all.
You're not ready.
We will be ready.
Do you have candidates in every parliamentary constituency?
Every single seat.
Every single one? What about the ones you've had to kick out because they were weirdos?
So many more people apply.
What about the ones you've had to kick out that were weirdos?
Talk to me about the Tory party sexual weirdos.
Let's talk about your party.
Sexual weirdos. Is that what you want to talk about?
They're not my weirdos. They're not my party, by the way. But, you've got to kick out quite a lot of people. You're not ready. You're not ready yet. Have you got the money? Have you got the money?
We've got the candidates. We've got the money.
How much money have you got?
We've got enough money to run a good election campaign.
How many members have you got to knock on doors?
More money coming in.
You've never told us how many members you've got. How many members have you got?
And why should I? Because, look, what we say is...
Well, we know how many Labour have got. We know how many Lib Dems have got.
The membership is growing rapidly.
You always say that, but you never tell us how many.
Because it's true.
How many
Tell us how many.
We're standing 630 candidates across England, Scotland and Wales.
OK, how many seats do you think you'll get?
Well, the more people who vote for us, the more we'll get. I mean,
you must have an idea.
We have got a good fortune teller in our party, but I'm not a fortune teller, so I can't make that prediction.
But this could be a powerful message from the doorstep. We're the only party with a policy to turn back the votes. Labour don't have one. They're just going to say, we'll get to grips with the gang.
All Labour's going to do is try and deal with the people smugglers. That won't make any difference. In the same way, if you take a drug dealer off the corner of a street, he's replaced by another drug dealer. So that won't stop the boats. Sunak's not stopping the boats. The only kind, compassionate policy is pick up, take back. They should be doing that now, and people will stop dying. That's why our policy is the only policy that works.
If we could do that now, they would.
Yes, but we can't.
We can do that because we're legally entitled, because they haven't got the leadership and the guts and the courage to do it. Tony Abbott did it in Australia. He pushed back. He got a load of flack from the lefty lawyers and the international institutions.
But you would have to leave the ECHR.
No, you don't, Carol. You just have to do what you're entitled to do under the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, 1982. I've read the treaty. I know how it works.
If the election is in June or July, what role role does Nigel Farage play for Reform
Yes.
UK?
A very good question. Well, that's why, I mean, he's got to
What's
make a
the
decision
answer?
rapidly.
What is
the
the
more
answer,
the merrier,
Richard?
is what I keep
What
saying to
is
everybody. The more the
answer?
merrier.
What
it's
is
a big
the
job.
answer?
You've just highlighted
You
it's a
don't
big
know.
job. I do, absolutely. Funny
do
enough,
not know.
funny
To
enough,
be
I
fair-
do know.
not know.
But
To
you're
be
going to be the
fair-
last person to find out.
Come on, we want to hear it.
To be fair, Nigel doesn't know. He was here yesterday.
He was.
He said he doesn't know
I think
either.
he's going to be spending quite a lot of time in the United States with his mate Donald Trump.
Well, let's wait and see. But if it's a summer election, then maybe he could do both.
Right. Very interesting. Well, there's Richard Tice's theory. We're going to have a summer election. Actually, let's just get on with it.
Well, you said it would have to be declared in 2 weeks' time?
To hit the 27th of June, it would have to be declared by sort of mid-May.
Or it could be 5th of July.
Or it could be the Thursday, the 4th of July.
And you really claim you're ready for it?
Absolutely, we're ready. Bring it on.
We've done that. He's saying he's
Richard,
not
a robust Richard Tice who claims he's got the money, the members. He won't tell me how many members he's got or who the money's from, but there we are. That's his commitment.